across all the styles and sounds that have emerged over the decades, there's no question that one of the most exciting and engaging yet often misunderstood is the world of psychobilly. Truth be told, while many have certainly heard the term, most are unaware of the actual sound it refers to, and even those very familiar with the genre don't know anything about its actual roots. At its core, psychobilly is simply a blend of punk rock and rockabilly music, with most bands adding in one or two smaller elements of their own to make their sound more distinctive. In a majority of cases, the band take the tone and the style of rockabilly music and then really speed it up a bunch, along with adding the attitude and the energy that is punk rock. Some bands choose to bring in elements of ska or heavy metal or even sci-fi references, but bringing them all together is the general attitude, as well as the fact that most of them tend to use an upright bass. Bands in the world of psychobilly also tend to lean heavily towards lyrics based on things like sex or violence or sci-fi themes, or just more of that dangerous idea within their words, though a lot of them also come with a heavy dose of tongue-in-cheek humor. That is to say, at the end of the day, psychobilly music is really about having fun, and that goes for both the performers and the audience. But the fact of the matter is, while you don't really see the style emerging in its formal sense until the mid-1980s, you can actually trace its roots almost decades earlier. The term itself was actually lifted directly from the lyric of a Johnny Cash song, One Piece at a Time, and after that song cracked the top 10 in 1976, the then New York City-based band The Cramps quickly started using it on their advertisement flyers at shows. However, you can actually see the origins of what is now termed as psychobilly as early as the 1950s, as the music of the great Screamin' Jay Hawkins absolutely fits the style in almost every sense. But the reality is, his link to the genre is often overlooked. But in a more modern sense, it's widely accepted that it was in fact the Cramps that started psychobilly music, though for a number of reasons they would eventually start distancing themselves from the sound, saying they were just using the term to get people in the doors as opposed to actually having it qualify as what they were playing. Due to this reality, a lot of people point to the UK band The Meters as the first real psychobilly band, as they tended to drop in sounds of horror movies and other evil undertones within their music. Most people also attribute their live shows to where the new style of slam dancing and moshing really began, and this way of expressing yourself in the crowd remains a large part of the psychobilly scene to this day. The Meteors, along with a majority of the other important bands of the UK psychobilly scene, all got their start at the same place, the Clubfoot nightclub in London, and there is a legendary compilation featuring many of the early bands in top form. Over the next decade, bands like The Quake, Necromantics, Mad Sin, and so many others would emerge in the psychobilly scene. And though it gained an insanely dedicated following, the fact of the matter is, it never got very close to the mainstream. Then in about 1990, the scene gained massive exposure due to a wild single by the Reverend Horton Heat. And this led to an entirely new group of performers playing the sound, as the world of psychobilly took off bigger than ever. There's this energy, this tone, this attitude that all psychobilly bands share. And though the name of the genre may turn away people unfamiliar with the actual sound, the fact remains that there are few sounds from any point in history that are as engaging and exciting as psychobilly.